lowly in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Matthew chapter 11, verses 28 through 30. One of the greatest invitations of the gospel is an invitation to rest. Jesus not only brings life to his children, he brings a good life. Not a life without troubles for sure, but one with troubles that are nevertheless easy. As he declared in the passage, he brings a life with burdens that are light. Objections abound to such a notion, even from Christians. What about taking up your cross to follow Jesus, counting the cost, dying to yourself, and mortifying the flesh? Isn't the call to follow Jesus a call to share in his suffering? And the answer is yes. But in our haste to emphasize the cost of following Jesus, we must not forget the blessing. According to Scripture, the burdens of Christ bring peace to our souls, not misery. Take my yoke upon you, Jesus said, and you will find rest for your souls. Anyone who has ever done something good for the sake of doing something good knows what I'm talking about. There's a difference between giving your only slice of cake to your brother because you want to do something nice and your brother stealing that piece of cake. You suffer the loss of cake in both situations. But the first scenario makes you happy to see your brother enjoying your cake. The second just makes you angry. Suffering for the sake of Christ is much the same. Christ calls each of us into a type of suffering that brings joy even in the midst of loss, a paradoxical burden that makes our journey easier, not harder. A mysteriously better way to enjoy our cake by giving it up. A way to live our life by losing it. The law of the Lord is perfect, reviving the soul, the psalmist declares. The precepts of the Lord are right, rejoicing the heart. Psalm 19, verses 7a and 8a. If one thing is certain about following Jesus, it's that following him is good for us. It revives us in the deserts of this world and makes our hearts rejoice with joy that is inexpressible and filled with glory. 1 Peter chapter 1, verse 8. The law of the Lord is sweeter also than honey and drippings of the honeycomb, Psalm 19, verse 10, because it's not only objectively good, but subjectively good too. It tastes good to follow God. His burdens feel light. In a world weighed down by sin, shame, and oppression, Jesus Christ delivers us from the weight of our present darkness. It should come as no surprise, then, that Jesus pronounces anathema upon the religious leaders of his day, hypocrites who loaded the people of God with heavy burdens. And Jesus said, "Woe to you lawyers also, for you load people with burdens hard to bear, and you yourselves do not touch the burdens with one of your fingers. Woe to you." Luke chapter 11, verses 46 through 47. Indeed, heavy burdens pervert the very message of the gospel. Imagine walking with Christian in John Bunyan's The Pilgrim's Progress. You arrive at the cross, and Christian's burden slips from his back. But just as he is about to rejoice, a stranger suddenly appears with an even greater burden. He hoists it upon Christian's shoulders, replacing what Christ had taken away, and declares that Christian must journey all the way to the celestial city like that. How far would Christian get? The problem. Countless LGBTQ believers find themselves struggling under the weight of burdens that no Christian should ever bear. Burdens given to them not by Christ, but by stigma, prejudice, and discrimination. They faithfully persevere in their journey to the celestial city with a heroic degree of faithfulness. But they do so under the mounting pressure of an atmosphere hostile to their faith. What's worse, many sexual and gender minorities leave the faith altogether, their belief destroyed in the wake of abhorrent abuses that would test the resolve of the greatest of saints.